Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Android Central Podcast. It's episode 100! Hi, I'm Phil Nickinson. I'm your host for episode 100 of the Android Central Podcast. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I said we weren't going to make a big deal out of it, but I changed my mind. And we got a whole bunch of good stuff tonight. We got a whole bunch more Galaxy S3 in the US. We got Google I.O. prep. This is our last podcast before we all head out to Google I.O. And it's episode 100! And I'm Phil Nickinson, editor of AndroidCentral.com. Maybe not in the morning after that. I'm not sure. We'll see. Jerry Hildenbrand from the site.
Who's not going to scream 100 like he's insane. But cheers, everybody. Happy 100.
Ouch.
Sorry, is that loud? Corey Streeter from the Android Central forums.
Hey, everybody. 100. Woo.
100! Alex Dobie from England. You know Alex.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm being low-key tonight to make up for
Oh, you all suck. I'm excited.
Wait, I want you to scream 100 like a little English girl.
that. Not at 2 in the morning, I'm not.
Well, that's true. British sensibility.
Definitely.
So, it's episode 100. 100. I gotta quit saying 100, sorry. 100. 100. It's a Benjamin. I don't know. That was really bad. So, we're gonna do things a little different. And a couple of reasons why. One, I want to. Two, I haven't prepared anything. We were talking pre-show. I had to buy an air conditioner for my house today, so I've done very little work, which sucks. I like working. It's much more fun than buying air conditioners. And it's the last podcast before Google I.O. It's a big deal. Galaxy S3, Google I.O., and so many voicemails I don't know what to do with. They are all really, really good. So let's just jump into it. It's now available in the US, the Galaxy S3. Sort of. Some people have it. Oh my god. You guys, all right, Alex and I have been there from the beginning, right? We were at the launch event in London, and we're all like, dude, this is awesome. And then it gets announced for all the US carriers at the same time. What, 2 weeks ago? Not even 2 weeks ago.
More or less, yeah.
This is even more awesome. Hey, some of them are going to release it at the same time. Cool. Everybody but Verizon. I get it. That's good. Only now they're having supply problems. And I want to hear what you guys think. Is it a glass half empty or a glass half full thing? I'm cynical. I like to say, you know what, Verizon or Samsung couldn't meet demand. You know, Samsung had supply problems, whatever. I was thinking maybe it was the hyperglaze, but I forget too much.
Here's the thing. Look at the chip as well. Those historically short supply of S4s.
Yes.
You've already had issues with a supply of Pebble Blues in Europe. I don't think there's any big conspiracy behind this. They just couldn't make enough of these phones. I think that's as simple as it is.
You can't let that happen anymore. You just can't.
I think it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Or here's my question: How does Apple get away with it, and Android can't? Apple just says, you know what, we'll ship them to you when we get them, and that's kind of the end of it. Everybody accepts it.
Sure. I mean, at least it's an improvement on the Galaxy Nexus situation. That doesn't make it right, but it's a step in the right direction.
That's true.
For Samsung.
That was a huge mess. It's frustrating. I've got the phone here. I've got two of the phones here. They're both white. You've seen them. They look the same. I like it a lot. I really do. I know I got a lot of crap in the reviews for a number of reasons, and a little bit of it's justified, I think, actually. I like the hardware a lot. The hardware is really good. It feels like a phone. I think it feels like more of a phone than the One X. Just when you hold it in your hand, it's more curvy. It feels better. I don't want to say sexy, but I will. There are design elements of the One X that I think are much better. You know, the camera housing, much, much better. We'll get to the buttons in a minute. The One X has, the pogo plugs for charging and accessory stuff, whereas this doesn't. But the Galaxy S3, removable battery, that makes up for a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Micro SD card, that makes up for a lot. I think probably where I got the most crap was for TouchWiz. Now, hang on, let me get this straight. I'm getting accused of being a Sense and HTC fanboy now, because after using Sense for a number of months and stock Android before that, and I use a new UI and I declare it not as good as those other two, I'm confused here. Am I not allowed to think that those two are better?
That's personal
No.
preference, right?
Yeah,
Jerry's right.
You have to individually address each and every person and agree with them. This is the internet.
There are. I think I need to, and I'm working on it slowly. I need to maybe address what I like and don't like a little better than I did in the reviews, and that's the only part that I wish I'd done a little better. There are features in TouchWiz I like a lot, but the design is just old. The design does not live up to the hardware. It does not live up to Ice Cream Sandwich, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it overtakes Ice Cream Sandwich, whereas Sense doesn't. And if you've used Sense 4, you got to agree with me there, right? Alex?
Yeah, I think that I don't think I was as harsh on TouchWiz as you were, but I think in a way I was comparing it to the old TouchWiz. I was almost comparing it not to ICS, but to what Samsung had before. So it's kind of a different way of looking at it. Definitely some really valid criticisms there about how Samsung has really just sort of put its own stuff directly on top of ICS. There was a quote this week from the new CEO of Samsung saying they're aware of this. They're aware that the quality of their software and the software design needs to improve. So at least it's something that they're aware of, even if they couldn't address it this time around. It's something that in the next product cycle we'll probably see them fixing up and being a little bit less obtrusive about it.
The Galaxy S4 with Bada OS.
Ooh.
Maybe
emails rolling in right there, Jerry.
Maybe it's that because stock Ice Cream Sandwich was such a big departure from Gingerbread. I mean, not huge, but it was a pretty big departure, right?
But you look at all the stuff that's in... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you look at all the stuff in TouchWiz, the TouchWiz 5, TouchWiz Nature UX, whatever you want to call it. Surely they started working on this before ICS was around, before they knew what ICS was going to be. And it shows, right? There's so much stuff in here that they have to have. This stuff would have been in development well into 2011. You would have thought.
But so did HTC, and I got that from a pretty top level person. Now, how much of that I believe, I'm not sure. That might have been a good line, and they're just, oh yeah, we were working on this long before Ice Cream Sandwich came out. Maybe not. I'm inclined to believe them, just because why would people lie to us like that? But I'm sure there's some overlap, right? But yeah. I mean, it just feels like the old TouchWiz to me, and I'm losing that sort of childlike wonder that you get with Ice Cream Sandwich. It's just like, ooh, it's new, it's shiny, and stock ICS isn't my favorite thing in the world. I think it's a little cold. It's a little too industrial and robotic for me, and that's where Sense really smoothed it out. Whereas TouchWiz is back. It's the same old cartoony TouchWiz.
I think it's as cartoony. I mean, if you go back to a TouchWiz 4 phone, it is very cartoony. It's very colorful. I think it's a step in the right direction from that, but just not enough. Samsung's making baby steps where they need to start again from scratch.
Right.
Another interesting thing was the way they were talking. There was that post about how secretive they were, and actually kind of strange and being all open about their secrecy. But at the same time, they're talking about software design, talking about how the whole team couldn't get together and address the problem as a whole because of the secrecy. And that kind of shows in the design because the individual elements, and this has always been kind of a Samsung problem, but the individual elements don't gel as well as they could. And it smacks of something that's been designed individually in chunks. And that post this week confirms it because, in part, the secrecy surrounding this product.
I thought the secrecy thing was funny because it just proved that we all knew that, like, those leaks we saw were phones within a phone, right? I mean, they were...
Well, they were. Let's be honest. They probably came from Samsung, really, didn't they?
Oh no, I have no doubt.
I know.
Samsung.
Yeah.
You were sitting next to me at the launch event where, not J.K. Shin. That's who's J.K. Shin?
J.K. Shin is the guy. Yeah, he was the guy who was at the launch event. He was
presenting it. I don't know why I was thinking another name. Yeah, J.K. Shin. Like, he almost winked at us when he's like, "We've seen the rumors."
I'm sure I nudged you and said, "Yeah, they totally put that out themselves."
Oh, absolutely. And Samsung is not the only manufacturer to do it. I mean, I know for a fact that others do it. And God, I hate it when they do that because that's just them laughing at us. But
unless you send it to us,
I like this phone a lot. I really do. I mean, the camera is. What did we decide? It's as good as the 1X or close enough that I can't tell.
I think they're about equal. Different areas, the different phones are better, but yeah, about equal.
I love this curve on the side. I really do. That just when I look down and see it, it just makes it look. It looks fluid. That is a fluid line. I love that. I love the the lock screen. Man, I had like 1,200 words written yesterday on this lock screen and how I'm in love with it. And the pond effect, when you put your finger in it, you get a little just sound and feel of being in water, and just it's awesome. And it does. When I was really putting them side by side, it has almost all the same functionality of the HTC lock screen, which I've loved for a long time too, right? And I think it's just gone one better with that extra, not tactile, but just visual. When you put your finger on it, you see something move, and it's nothing anybody else couldn't do.
Let me tell you the one thing you don't get, which kind of bugs me, is music controls on the lock screen.
Yes,
That's one thing I really miss from stock. I don't know why that
How
isn't there.
the hell is
It's a bit
that not
strange
in
to me.
there?
You've got
How
weather
is
on there.
that-
You've got it's odd.
No music controls. Like, how did they just? Maybe it just wasn't done. I don't know. But oh god, some. I gotta look at this picture. Oh no, good. It's of Corey. Somebody just tweeted out 100 with a picture on Twitter, but it's of Corey, so we're good. Woo! That might have been awkward. Yeah. I think what's bugging me the most about this phone, and I'm trying not to let it bother me. I'm trying to learn to use it, and Jerry's going to agree with me here, I think, and that is the bottom end, is these buttons.
Damn right. You keep your damn menu button on your crappy phone.
Oh, man.
I want nothing to do with it.
And Samsung's not the only one. Jerry, I sent you the LG phones, and they have the menu button
Yep,
too, right?
they have it too. And it's a freaking shame.
Oh.
They get guidelines how to move away from it, and Android does everything they can to make it easy and builds ways in the operating system to compensate, and manufacturers don't care and do whatever the hell they want.
I thought you didn't like
I'm going to
on-screen
about
buttons.
it every time.
Who didn't like on-screen buttons?
When the
I
Galaxy
don't-
Nexus came out, he was
I don't mean the
all upset because
capacitive
they
buttons.
have.
I love capacitive buttons.
Oh, capacitive.
Just not a menu button anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the menu button's going to be a problem. That's a big, and it's a big deal because Samsung's the one doing it.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I mean, with all due respect to Huawei, if this was Huawei, or maybe not Huawei because they got such a big inroad in China, but if this was, I don't know, pick some no-name manufacturer, right? Google would not care. This is Samsung. They sell more phones than anybody.
Everybody combined, isn't it?
Yeah. This is not good. Like, how can you tell the rest of the world, we want you to design your apps this way? How can I, in all these posts where I'm saying, oh God, it's a great app, but the menu button, they need to really move to the new design. How can I keep saying that if millions of Galaxy S3s are going to sell with this damn menu button down here?
Man, you guys are bumming me out, making me second guess my decision.
I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, I'm surprised how little it's bugged me, really, and it's maybe because I've used so many different phones with different button setups, and that I'm just kind of immune to that now. But yeah, I would rather it had a multitasking button, but it doesn't bother me that much.
I tell you,
People in the chat are talking. Somebody, Steve Tyson says, I like the menu button. 84 guy says, you need the menu button until devs put the menu inside their app. You both are right. I like the menu button as well. I wish Google had decided to keep it in Android, but they didn't. They're trying to scale things so they get a little bit of, parity between devices. So apps all look the same. But app developers aren't going to update if they don't have to. I mean, come on, people are lazy at heart. And if 3/4 of the phones out there don't need to have their app updated, they're not going to do it. And that holds everybody back.
Yep. I tell you what's really pushing me over the edge and leading me to buy this instead of a 1X, and that is the software. I'm not sure if it's the 2 gigs of RAM or if it's just less buggy than the HTC stuff. There are noticeable bugs that have been there, and I've been using it for 2 months now? Closing in on 2 months. I don't remember. It's been a while. Yeah, a couple months at least. And there are a lot of bugs that are still there. The lock screen on the 1X is charged. Not sure. Yeah, it's charged. So lock screen, you pull down, you have your notification here. I go and I tap it. It might go to what I tapped. It might not. Like if there's
really?
Gmail notification, I tap it. Maybe it opens the app. Maybe it doesn't.
That's not good.
No, that's a pretty big one. Wi-Fi still an issue.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, AT&T hotspots, because that's an AT&T phone, it just will not connect to.
Huh.
And the damn things are in, and you don't have the option to turn it off. And the damn things are everywhere, right? So if I walk within half a mile of a Starbucks, the phone suddenly is like, I don't have data. What's wrong? The Galaxy S3, I can turn it off. That's interesting. I figured that would have been an AT&T thing and not an HTC thing. I don't know. But I have the option to turn it off here and not use it. And that's a whole other ethical thing. I choose to not connect to every damn AT&T Wi-Fi spot out there just because I don't know what it... I mean, it worries me, probably more than it should. But I want to have that choice, right? And do not force me to connect to somebody else's Wi-Fi. That's just bad. That sits badly with me. I don't know.
That was an AT&T thing too.
I thought it was too, except for you can turn it off in the Galaxy S3. So I don't know what that means.
That is weird, isn't it?
It's very weird.
So I was curious about the 2 gigs of RAM. I was.
Yeah.
Does that make a big difference?
I don't know.
So have you noticed any... a lot of people
fast.
have actually noticed on the international one that the launcher likes to unload itself from memory quite a lot. I was wondering with the extra 2 gigs of RAM, is that something you noticed on the US versions, Phil? So when you press the home button, you'll get a noticeable. It'll you get the wallpaper, but it won't load all the widgets and icons straight away, and it'll sort of stutter while it loads everything back.
Yeah.
Is that something that you get on the one with the 2 gigs of RAM as well?
I haven't noticed. Maybe I need to play with the stock one some more. But no, I mean, here's the Sprint one that actually has the launcher on it. Let's see if I can. I mean,
I've always thought that that's the one thing that makes a lot of phones feel a little laggy. Is that they could use more RAM. The processors are getting faster, but they haven't been putting any more RAM in them. So I'm kind of glad they did that.
Start a game or something, Phil, and then go back to the home screen and see if it
Chrome does it
redraws.
for me. Chrome and Flipboard are
there you go.
the main
Chrome,
culprits.
That would do it.
let's see. This battery's about to die too, but I'll try it. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Alex, let's talk about Pentile, because I know a lot of people have mentioned Pentile in their reviews, and
Pentile, I think, like in itself isn't so much of a problem in terms of pixel density or whatever. It looks fine. The issues with the screen, I think, are based around the sort of blue tint that you get in certain images, and
I haven't noticed that.
Put it side by
maybe
side
I'm just not noticing, but
maybe. I mean, the other thing is daylight visibility, and part of that is down to. I mean, you've got the white version there, Phil, and the white border around it, especially with the fact that it's AMOLED, the fact it doesn't look quite as nice in daylight because of the way the technology works, means that it's really hard to focus on. When if you've got bright sunlight sort of beaming down the screen, it reflects a lot of light off the border and not enough light off the screen. So your daylight visibility is just nowhere near as good as something like the One X, which actually has an LCD. That for me is the biggest problem with the screen.
You guys are in for a treat next week when you see the screen on this LG. It's better than the One X.
Is it?
And I'm looking at it on your side. Yeah, the IPS display they put on this 4X HD, it's amazing.
So I've heard a lot of people say with the 4X that it's the thing that makes it look not as good as the One X is that they have it's sort of lower down beneath the bezel, whereas the One X sort of hovers. It almost seems to hover above the actual bezel.
Right.
Is that something
if
you
you're
think
not
makes a big
looking at it
difference?
straight on, you can see that. Correct.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I played with the 4X a little bit before I sent it up to Jerry. I mean, it feels nice. It's a really good phone. But the One X still is the best display. If you see people talking about Pentile on the Galaxy S3, it's not. I mean, night and day. It is not Pentile on a Motorola phone. It's not Pentile on.
It's not Pentile even on the One S that you can see the Matrix pattern. There are issues with the screen. Pentile isn't one of them. I think is the answer to that.
Right.
From what I understand, it's the same technology as on the Galaxy Nexus, but with some proprietary Samsung stuff in there to adjust the color.
Well, here's what I've noticed, and I've actually had the two side by side for a long time and sort of been comparing this stuff. Look at something close up with low brightness levels. You don't get the grainy effect you get on the Gene X. That I think is probably a hardware thing, but there is also definitely some post-processing going on. I've noticed that a lot with text. There's a sharpening effect around the corners of text, and if you're viewing a video, it does something similar to what Sony does with the Bravia engine. So you've got contrast enhancement and also the same sharpening effect. And if you actually get an S3 and a Gene X right next to each other, watch the same video, say from YouTube or whatever, on both of them, there is a big, huge difference in terms of video quality.
Really?
And that kind of stuff makes a big difference. And let's face it, all the Galaxy phones have done very nice, with that sort of technology. Samsung makes good screens.
What the hell is up with the screen dimming though? The dimming.
Oh god,
horrible.
auto brightness, and the fact they don't give you a widget to control that either is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So there's no
I
brightness.
caught some crap in the review for mentioning that in the video, I guess. But that's a big deal. You need to be able to change that quickly, especially and maybe that's why they did it, because the screen dimming is just so crappy. It stutters. It's not a smooth transition. And for a phone that's otherwise very badass, that's kind of an obvious, just like,
Yeah. I'm almost to the point of routing it just so I can change the auto brightness levels.
Right.
It's that annoying.
God, it's so thin. It really is nice. It's so thin. I'm buying one. I think I am. Like, if this had been the Galaxy Nexus, just in platform, mostly.
Galaxy Nexus is still a fine phone.
Oh, yeah, very much so. I actually charged mine this week.
And in the next week, we might see a lot of people going back to the Galaxy Nexuses, possibly.
I'll tell you what, as far as the internal components, I wouldn't want any of these new phones to replace the Galaxy Nexus. I'm glad they chose what they chose.
Right. Well, and they chose it for a reason, and I get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else about the GS3? I mean, it's trickling out on the OS carriers. If you've already
did anybody see one in a store today? Anybody in the chat room?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go.
Someone says fire incident, so I guess they're talking about the reports of someone's Galaxy S3 exploding in a car dock or something.
All right, yeah. Look, there was one.
You get that? Yeah.
I really hate posts like that. They're fun posts, and I get it. They're really cool pictures. One person had one that blew up on them. Now, I don't want to be that one person, and it sucks if you're that one person.
How many iPods blew up?
100,000 of these things all went up in flames today.
Yeah.
So.
And you see pictures of iPhones that explode every now and again, and
right.
It's
a battery that you heat up to charge. It's going to happen with, manufacturing faults. Can't stop it.
No, people are going to make a big deal out of it and poke fun at it, but it happens. These things are they're powered. They have electronics. Hey, by the way, in case you guys didn't know, we are giving away not one, not two, not three, not four. Wait, yeah, 4. Galaxy Nexus. I'll put the link in the chat because I can't.
Galaxy Nexus or Galaxy S3s?
Or Galaxy S3. Sorry, I blame my father. My dad calls me today because he's going to go buy one. I let him.
Is he really?
Yeah. So he's been using. Oh, speaking of which, that means we're giving away the Sprint Galaxy Nexus he's been using. Long story, but yeah, he's going to go buy a Galaxy S3. And he kept calling it the Galaxy Nexus, so that's why I've got that in my head. So, go to that link in the chat. We'll have it in the show notes if I get around to making show notes. Maybe. We'll see. I don't feel like making show notes. Is that enough Galaxy S3? I know people are tired of talking about it. I get that. I understand that. They're going to sell a lot of it.
That's the new hotness this week. Next week we'll have something new to talk about.
Do you guys think? I was definitely. Actually, when I was talking to my dad, he's like, "Well, is there anything else coming out?" And Motorola, maybe
every week until the end of the year is the answer to that.
Is your dad on Sprint?
Yeah. My parents are on Sprint. I don't know why. I can't get them off.
Because you don't love them enough to talk them away from it. Just kidding, guys. Don't mail in.
Sprint loyalty goes a long way. They've always been on Sprint, and I'm like, you don't understand. It's horrible. It's not good. I almost felt bad. I thought I was too harsh on Sprint in the lead of my Sprint review, but I don't think I was. If you can't even hit like 0.4 download or 0 or whatever it was, it's no.
I can sit on my back porch and see the lights blinking on the Sprint tower and T-Mobile Edge is still faster. There's a problem.
Yeah. It's not good. LTE's good. When does LTE get a launch? They've got a week and a half left to make it in the first half of the year.
Crickets.
You guys don't think it's going to happen, do you?
No.
They're going to miss it. They can't miss it. They cannot miss it.
Do they even have a test area up yet?
Oh yeah, no, they're testing.
Yeah, they
yeah,
we get email in. There's a bunch of tests going on. People see it for a little while, and
no, we've gotten emails. PC Mag just did their giant network testing, and actually got their handheld through it. I think in Atlanta. They got walked through and said, "Yeah, go test it here, and here." So, like Sasha said, they knew we were coming.
Sparkling cyanide. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
No.
I was going to say Sparkling Cyanide in the chat brought up a good point. They're having it in Baltimore. Baltimore's just an hour drive from me. When it launches in Baltimore, I'll have Phil send me something, and we'll go up there and run about 1 billion speed tests for y'all.
Yes.
We'll do our own little
and then Phil
what
will
works
say,
best in Baltimore.
That's not where I am. I'm a dream killer. Yeah.
Thanks for taking one for the team there, Jerry.
Well, but the thing is what works best in Baltimore is not what's going to work best in Seattle or Pensacola or London or Bunker Hill. It's just what works best in Baltimore, and that's something everybody needs to remember.
Yep. That's why. I mean, we can do speed tests, and sometimes we do in reviews, sometimes we don't. If I do, it's generally to show that hey, something's up. I don't think I've done one since maybe a Sprint phone, just to show how bad it was. I don't remember. Hey, Galaxy S3. All right, so the bottom line for me, at the end of the day, even, I like this phone a lot. I do. I'm probably going to buy one. Well, I mean, we'll see how it stands up, right? Like, even, 1 week, 2 week reviews, my opinion could well change here in 2 or 3 months. Remember the Thunderbolt, right? But initially, like this thing a lot. I really do. The speaker's a little weird, too. The speaker's too loud.
Oh, it is?
It's very loud. With the GeneX, it was very quiet. I think they've almost gone too far in the other direction with this, maybe.
Yeah, it's a little overdriven.
Does it have the Wolfson audio chip? Does anybody know?
I saw somebody ask that in the chat room.
I think it does. I remember reading that somewhere. I think it does.
Oh, well,
I don't even know what that is.
For rooted
turn it
people,
down, right?
Volume won't be a problem as soon as the people at XDA get a hold of it then.
I'm kind of excited to see what the development community does with this.
Well, there's already CM9's already out for the international version, and given like the chip in the US version's an S4, which people have already been playing with, so it's not going to be long before we get loads of custom ROMs for these things. I don't think.
I think I'm going to CM it. I really.
Yeah, I was saying to Phil earlier in the week, convince me not to CM this thing because
that's sad. I realize Samsung has already said they realize they need to work on their software a little bit. But it's a brand new phone. I know 2 people that have one, and now both people say they want to put a custom ROM on it to get rid of the software.
Well, I mean, look, it's not
you want to do that anyway.
Necessarily to get rid of it. It's to see what it's like with a different software on it, right? It's to test it out, see if it's any better.
Right, so
doesn't mean you want to stick with it, because in a lot of cases when you swap out stock ROM for a custom ROM, you swap one set of issues for another set of issues. So
right,
it's that.
I'm running,
but just the fact that
that was one of the first things I did. It's like I got 2 phones here. I'm going to put Apex on one and have like a semi-normal, just home screen experience. I won't call it a stock experience because there's still TouchWiz and features all over the place. But I wanted like a stock launcher home screen experience because that's that's where you are 90% of the time, right? Home screen launcher, home screen launcher.
Yeah,
and it's great. I like it a lot. Just there's something about TouchWiz. I don't like the design anymore. I need a new design out of Samsung, and they can hire the people to do it. They might even have the people already there. I want to see something new and different, and not just another iteration of TouchWiz. It's the same TouchWiz we've been using.
They're working on it.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Let's hope what they come up with we like better.
You're just going to have to wait till the next phone.
Yeah, the problem is we're going to wait until next spring to get whatever they're working on.
Yeah.
And like Corey said, it's going to be the next phone. You'll never see it on the phone you have today because
that's the way,
and I understand that. They can't change up a phone that people have had for a year. I get that.
And HTC does the same thing with Sense 3.6 as opposed to Sense 4.
Right.
So outside of the launcher, is there like other areas within the phone that you don't like the TouchWiz on?
I mean, I just don't like the look of it anymore.
Because the launcher is so easy to cover up, and
right,
so
exactly. No, I mean, and I might not even. I might just live with Apex. I might be fine with a third-party launcher. Yeah,
I think that
Alex S Voice. What's your verdict on that?
Yeah, waste of time.
Tell me what you really think.
Yeah, but it's I can't see anyone using it. It's not accurate enough or fast enough to be of any use to me.
Yeah,
that's it. Sorry.
You remember the woodchuck test that I kind of pulled out of my butt at the launch thing? I've gotten it to work once. That's where I ask it. In fact, I'll try it right now. We'll do it live on the podcast. See if I can get it to. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I'm not sure what you mean by how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
So
it worked pretty well.
I wish you would come back and say "F you, Nickinson."
I'm gonna try mine now just to see.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten it to do it once, and the one time it's worked.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Oh, you can't even say it. The one time I've gotten it to work was in the video I shot for the review.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Who asked that?
Yeah.
How about what's the weather in Pensacola?
It got the dictation right, but it didn't get any answer for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Give me something else to try. We'll go back.
What's the weather in Bunker Hill, West Virginia on Tuesday?
What is the weather going to be like in Bunker Hill, West Virginia on Tuesday?
The forecast for Tuesday is partly sunny and hot.
Well, except that it just gave it for where I live. And not for where I asked it.
See, if you wouldn't have told anybody, we all would have been amazed.
I know, but that's kind of not the point, right?
Right. But
yeah.
One more. Who's the leader of the Crackberry Nation? What's working on it?
I'm sorry, I don't have the answer. Would you like to search the web?
Yes.
No, I would not. No, I mean, it's perfectly fine for a just voice action type thing, but it's
perfectly fine for things that are easier to do with a keyboard anyway, which is my problem.
Come on, guys, it sucks. Siri sucks. Nobody uses it. S voice sucks. We don't need this crap.
What's fun about Siri is listening to my wife, and you just saw my wife walk behind me. Is when she talks to Siri, she does it in a totally different voice. And it's almost a sexy voice too. She's like, "Hello, Siri," blah 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 blah. And I'm like, just talk to the thing. It's a phone.
Does she use it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'd use it.
Seems like more of a gimmick.
Does she use it to order freaking tomato soup delivered to the house? If I had an iPhone, I'd have to do that like they do in the commercial.
All right, I want to move past the Galaxy S3. Really, I do, because this will be the last time we ever talk about it ever.
No.
Google I/O is next week.
Yay.
We are all going to be there. Me and Alex and Jerry, and even Kevin Mitchell is going to be in town. So you guys are going to get to meet Kevin probably. We'll make him buy us dinner or something.
Imagine all the giant Android figurines he can fight with.
I'm going to see what happens when they let him in the door. So Google I/O, let's talk about our expectations. And we don't have anything planned here, so we're kind of bringing this off the cuff. All right, let's talk about Jelly Bean first, because we actually had some more news on that today. Google kind of accidentally leaked on the Galaxy Nexus product page, when you go buy it at Google Play here in the States, that, hey, it's running Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. Oops. Only it's not.
Well...
I'm looking forward to the redesigned search bar.
We know
that's all we know about it.
Yeah, we know Jelly Bean's coming. We know it'll be one of the first phones to get it. They're not. We're not going to get Jelly Bean next week, guys. I'm going to call that right now. They might show us some screenshots and talk about it, but then come October, November, we'll get Jelly Bean just like last year when we got an update.
No.
No?
Sorry, no. I think we're going to get Jelly Bean next week, and it's going to be on this rumored tablet thing. I think on the phone side, they wouldn't have screenshots of it out now. They wouldn't have this redesigned launcher if it wasn't imminent. I think we'll get it on this new device next week, and then it would be gone.
I'm just not seeing on the launcher what you guys are. Is it just me? Am I just tired?
It's a new launcher. It has to be a new version of Android.
All right, I'm gonna look at it again, but I'm just not seeing it.
Seeing what?
That's what I'm saying.
It's a new launcher. Great. I mean, so what else is
well,
there?
yeah, then there's
the question.
That.
But I think we'll see it next week. We might not get it next week. It might take a couple of weeks for it to come out, but it's going to be weeks, not months, I think. I mean, all these rumors of OEMs getting on the action and possibly them already having access to it, I think, not to build anyone's hopes up, but I think it's not just going to be the GeneX that has it pretty quickly. I think the other OEMs, people like Samsung, HTC, are going to be working really hard to get this out on their devices and not have
like Motorola
their flagship products being a version behind.
I'm sorry, Alex. We're going to have to make a friendly wager. It'll involve beer. But
I'll make a wager.
I don't think we're going to see anything anytime in the near future. That's just my guess.
I think we need to. We just got
we'll have it on phones by the end of July. That's my wager.
Okay. I will bet you a beer of your choice.
Cool.
Now wait, Josh in the chat room says the tablet might have it. That's not what we're talking about because that's what I think we're going to see.
Well, yeah, we're pretty much in agreement the tablet's going to have it, but I think the GeneX will have it by the end of July.
I hope you're right, but I would be more than happy to buy you a beer if you are.
Cool.
All right, so tablet, we're all in agreement. It exists.
Yep.
Well, of course. That's the worst kept secret at Google headquarters, isn't it?
I think so. All right, so
the big question is what else is
right, and
if they come out with a 7-inch tablet and say, here, it's only $200, you can buy it online, that's a device that's going to sell less units than if Asus had just put it at Best Buy under their own name.
Yeah,
there's something more.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be in it. Yeah, it has to be probably based on Google's own services or some kind of connected device or something based on WiDi or some sort of connected home thing.
Yep.
Can't call it WiDi. Wi-Fi Direct.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, why can't we call it WiDi, Phil?
WiDi is Intel's weird display thing. That's different. I'm just saying.
So now, now everybody knows.
I know. I was corrected. Now I have to correct you guys. That's how it flows downhill.
We're still going to call it WiDi. Especially me. I have WiDi engraved on my freaking laptop. I'm still never thinking. Be able to stop saying it.
I'm still thinking some sort of super connected home stuff. We've got to see something new happen with Google TV. It's too good an idea to let die. It really is. It really is. What do you guys think? Are we going to see any? I mean, something has to happen in the tablet space.
Yeah.
They can't keep pumping out. We can't keep seeing tablets pumped out and pumped out and pumped out. And they're getting really good. And, go figure that Asus, of all people, is leading the pack in that, right? I think probably no argument.
They've got to have realized that on the whole in the tablet space, they're failing.
Yeah.
As a platform.
Exactly.
Right. On the hardware side,
what's their answer to that?
I mean, you look at some of the new Asus tablets, when they do what they were designed to do, they're every bit as good or better than Apple's offerings. Mm-hmm. But that's still not enough.
No, and that's all they do, and just.
I mean, Apple has a much better ecosystem, which is
right,
the other side of
it. I want to see them work. I really do, and I want to see Google TV work. But Google TV it has hardware issues. I think the software is not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the software.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. My review, it's so locked up, I can't even get it to start up. I love the damn thing for $100, but
yeah. I mean, that was the other thing you said it the other day. The pricing was just ridiculous. All right, so we got that. Chromebooks. Well, we've got the new Chromebooks that just came out. So
I imagine they'll have a lot to say about those. I mean, and that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I've talked to some people that have one, and it's now. Well, Phil, you have one of the Series 5s from last year at I/O. It's okay until you really start to need it for something, and then it gets slow. It's an old Intel Atom. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing next week is what we might see from Google is going to be a tablet, and all these new Chromebooks, whereas what we got from Microsoft this week and the Surface stuff, not Android related, but it's something which sits very much in the middle of those two. It's kind of a laptop, it's kind of a tablet. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to look at things like that.
Well, a person whose opinion I respect a lot, Phil, told me flat out in the middle of this week. He said, if Google wants to compete at the level that, with the Surface and Apple's products, converge Chrome and Android into a convergent device like the Transformer. And the more I think about that, Phil's a genius. Google should hire him because...
Really? Because at the time you're like, nah.
Yeah. At the time I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, no, I don't need that because Chrome isn't quite enough.
I like the new Chrome OS a lot.
Well, so do I, but if I'm going to carry a £1.50 laptop around, I've got a little Ultrabook that does so much more than Chrome.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I wanted to love Chromebooks.
The question with Chrome OS or a Chromebook is, what does it do that, say, the Transformer Prime doesn't do?
I need my litmus test is, can it run Photoshop? Can I crunch video on it? For me, those are the two things that I have.
Well, the Transformers, you can do that.
I've got a MacBook Air sitting here, and I'm already thinking, you know what? I need more power. Like, it runs Photoshop great. Video still takes a while, and I get that. It's an Air. It's, the processor is only saying, I forget what it is, but that's my thing. That's why I could not ever use a Chromebook right now, because it has to run full Photoshop.
Or GIMP.
Or GIMP, I guess. Maybe. I need to try it, but...
I'll convert you one day, Phil. It's free. It's beautiful.
But I mean, Photoshop, and that's a deal with my job as anything else. And I get that a lot of people don't need to use Photoshop 1,000 times a day for their job. That's great.
But you think that's exactly what Microsoft showed off with the Surface. And tech geeks aside, nobody I know who's not interested in tech even knows what the hell the Surface is or gives a damn about it. They're going to see it. They're going to think, oh, that's a new cheap Microsoft laptop. And, and that's as far as it's going to go. But you have a Windows 8 platform, and it's a tablet / laptop / Ultrabook / whatever that runs everything on the Windows 8 platform. Yeah, I know the bigger one will run all the legacy stuff too, but throw that out of the picture for a minute. That allows the development community to focus on the Windows 8 platform, and that's going to work on phones. It's going to work on laptops. It's going to work on tablets. Boom.
Yeah.
If Microsoft would put some sort of, older Xbox games, make them on the Windows 8 platform, that Surface would sell faster than they could keep them in the store.
Yep.
And that was one of the rumors, wasn't it? That it would be powered by like 360 level internals.
And they didn't say anything about it. I hope that's something they're holding back. I have no love for Microsoft, but competition makes Android better, so I want to see it.
We had remarks from game developers a few years and years ago saying that the way they think consoles are going to work in the future is having a tablet as a docking station. And you can imagine something with 360 level internals plugging into a TV being a really solid entertainment system. And you have to wonder maybe if that's not if Google doesn't have something similar planned with this 7-inch tablet.
I'm glad somebody else thinks that way, because I want to see a 7-inch tablet that's not just a 7-inch tablet. I want to be able to hit a button.
You want to plug it into a docking station and connect it to your TV.
Or a Wi-Fi direct docking station that I can plug into an HDMI port on my TV.
Absolutely.
Or my computer. So
you don't have to have a massive cable trailing out of your tablet to...
Right. I want it to communicate both ways with my Android phone. I want a 7-inch remote control that connects to everything in my house.
And honestly, that could be the missing piece of the Jelly Bean puzzle, the thing that we don't know, the big thing about this 4.1 version.
Hey, you know what else I want to see? And I don't think we're going to see it anywhere in this way, shape, or form yet. But what Ubuntu was going to do with Android apps, and I understand you've got kernel issues, and this is totally different. But I would love to see somehow that sort of integration with Mac OS or with Windows, right? Where I get an email, and I'm trying to think how this might possibly work. I mean, this is pie in the sky stuff. I'm making this up in my head right now. But even if you're not running the apps, I don't know. There's just something I want. I mean, does that make any sense? I'm gonna go back to what I was doing here, which was not listening. But
yes, they've merged the Android kernel. It's now the Linux kernel.
Right.
Their Open Web OS is now the Linux kernel. We've got all this technology that can be built to just work together natively.
Yeah.
Let's do it, guys. The people at Canonical, they write Ubuntu. Not my favorite, but it's great. Let's, work with them. Do whatever it takes. Have everything in your house on the same platform. Talk to each other. And I want my 7-inch tablet to be the screen for every damn device in my house.
Hey, what do you use? What's your distro?
I use Slackware, but I'm old and stupid, so, it's...
I don't even know what that is. I just wanted to know.
It's an old version of Linux.
Yeah.
That's what I cut my teeth on, so.
Cool. Anything else on I/O that we are expecting? I mean, if you haven't take a look at all the sessions that are listed, and I talk about this like we're all going, but the fact is, Google's streaming all this stuff, which is the next best thing to being there. They're streaming the keynotes, so you can, you will probably have a better view than we will. And in fact, we'll do a live blog, I'm sure, but I'll be probably taking pictures the whole time, and you will probably understand it better than I will. When we get out of it, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, what just happened?" I took a look.
Another thing we're gonna see at Google I/O, I think that's when we're gonna start to see all the Google Plus APIs, and that's going to be huge for Android applications.
Yes,
developers are going to be able to tap into Google Plus and do the same things you see that they do now with Twitter and Facebook.
Google does a really big party every year. So last year, Jane's Addiction played, and actually they were surprisingly badass. Who do you think is going to do it this year? Nickelback?
ZZ Top. A man can dream.
So awesome. That would be so awesome. I'm trying to think who's like, maybe Bieber. That would be, yeah.
Oh, my.
My daughter would be so jealous.
I would throw my underwear on the stage if Justin Bieber played.
Well, then you'd have to start wearing underwear. Hey, we are totally off the rails now. Yikes. All right. Anything else, or should we go to voicemails here in a minute, which is Renee's cue to get the 5,000 voicemails ready.
Oh, someone says Google Glass. Google Glass, yeah.
Google Glass, yeah. That'll be cool to see. I mean, we haven't been writing about it because for me, it's not Android. I mean,
not yet. I think it will be. Not yet, though.
Probably, yeah.
Wouldn't it be so cool if your 7-inch tablet was in your backpack and Google Glass was your interface? Wireless direct. You've got all the processing.
We've already talked about it being.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've got to see. That's the next logical step, I think.
I think if we do see Glass at I/O, it's going to be prototypes, and at best they'll let us play around with the prototype hardware that they have. It'd be cool if they do that. At the same time, we might just catch Larry or Sergey wandering around with these things on. So,
I think I'm going to make my own homemade Google glasses to wear at home with laser beams.
Oh, that should be our next contest. I got an idea. Oh, I got a good idea there. All right, let's do some voicemails, if we may. Renee, you around? You ready to do those? Let's just go in alphabetical order. And we got to start, for those of you who have been around listening to this podcast for a while, we've got this friend in Austria. His name's Alex, and he's badass. And so we're only going to do one of his 2 voicemails he sent in. Actually, I think a couple people are probably going to mention this in their voicemails, but I'm going to say it up front. We're not running every one where everybody talked about amperage and car chargers and stuff. So after last week when we talked about the BlackBerry charger, a lot of people wrote in. We got a lot of emails on that too. So if you sent one, thank you. So basically, and Jerry, you're the EE around here. It's just a matter of finding one that does, 2 amps?
Yeah, I mean, 2 amps I think is the sweet spot. Any more and your phone tends to get a little hot. Yeah. So, your phone will charge twice as fast with a 2 amp charger as it will with a 1 amp charger.
Cool. All right, so onto the voicemails. Here's Alex from Austria, our old friend. Just
Hi,
sit back and...
This is Alex. First thing, congratulations for the best Android podcast for 100 episodes. Second thing, last episode 99. 99. Nothing. You talked about the car chargers. There's no good car charger. I have one word for you. TomTom. TomTom has a car charger. I think it's called Quick Charger or Fast Charger. It has 2 USB ports on it. One with 1 ampere. The second one with sweet 2.5 amperes. That's great. You don't need more in your car. And the last thing, to the beard, you have a great cherry on you. Now, take 100 fucks in me. I'm done.
And he brought the forks back. Oh, Alex, we missed you.
Alex, mein Freund, ich liebe dich. You're great, man.
Corey looks like he's... Corey, you okay? Did we just stupefy Corey?
No, I'm good. Sorry.
Corey's like, what the hell are you guys doing over there? Well, thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. All right. On to Amanda.
Hi, this is Amanda, and this is for the Android Central podcast. My question is about the long complained about GPS issue that's been on Samsung Galaxy phones. I have a Sprint Epic 4G Touch, the Samsung Galaxy S2, that has this the GPS issue, and I've seen it also complained about on the Epic 4G, the Samsung Galaxy S. My question is, does anybody know what exactly is causing it? Is it just a Sprint problem with Sprint radios? Or, and why isn't Samsung able to do anything about it? They must know that there's so many people complaining about it. How come it's coming out on phone after phone, and how come they can't fix it? And lastly, does anybody know if this issue will exist also on the Samsung Galaxy S3? Because I'm thinking about getting another one. I love the Samsung Galaxy phones, but I can't handle this GPS issue anymore. So any thoughts you guys could possibly have would be great. Thanks, and I love your podcast. And here's to hoping that there are more women that are going to call in, since we don't hear enough of them. Thanks. Bye.
Amen to that.
We lost Phil, Jerry, so it's all you.
The GPS issues, there's 1,000 different theories floating around out there. I've seen people that took, their Captivate and took it apart and bent some connectors and tried to make it work, and they say it's better. Other people say you use different, a GPS configuration file to fix it. Some people say that it's just the Sprint network. It's more than likely it's a combination of what's in the kernel, the hardware they're using, the network itself, and the fact that their phones with GPS, they're not dedicated down to 1 meter accuracy GPS. I mean, I'm not happy when my phone is 80 yards off for GPS. No, I'm not at all. It's also not very often. I wonder, these people with problems move around a little bit. Does it get better? Does it get worse? It could just be the way that hardware works. I mean, I'm not sure.
It doesn't lock. That's the problem. It doesn't even get a signal. And I don't think it's a Sprint problem, because it was on it's been on all of the Samsung devices. I've even had problems with it on the Thunderbolt and some of the other devices. It's not a location thing. It's even getting a lock at all.
So the weird thing is that all the international Samsung phones I've had, the S3 and the Note, fantastic GPS, no problem whatsoever. And actually the S3, I think supports GLONASS as well as GPS. So you get more satellites to work with, which means it should get a lock faster and maybe a better lock in a shorter space of time.
I think it's a hardware issue in the past phones, personally, but I mean,
didn't it go back to the whole? What's the name of the company that was suing Motorola? And
oh yeah, that was another conspiracy. I don't think that was it, Phil. Because
you don't think so?
No, well, that doesn't explain the Epic 4G Touch.
That's true.
It's I think that was a convenient finger to point, and at the time it made perfect sense. But I mean, Samsung, they make really good GSM radios and phones and that kind of stuff, guys. I mean, that's just, that's 90% of what they sell is GSM technology, and it has a little bit different hardware inside. They struggle a little bit with Sprint and Verizon, and they're getting better. I mean, hopefully the Galaxy S3, there we don't see half of these issues, or if we do, hopefully Samsung can step up and you can tweak software. Look at the Galaxy Nexus when they first came out. There was a hardware problem with the volume control.
Right.
Software tweak fixed it. You can fix hardware with a software tweak sometimes, and let's just hope.
Fair enough. All right, let's.
The
we gotta
Galaxy
move on
Nexus is pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of complaints on the Galaxy. I think it'll be fine in the Galaxy 3. Whatever happened, I think they fixed it.
Mm.
All right, on to Anders.
This is a message for the Android Central podcast. My name is Angus. I'm calling all the way from Alex Dobyland, England. In fact, now that I think about it, it'd be nice to have a voicemail in England, by the way. I wrote a post in the forums, and I was actually just wanted to see you guys' views on it. We're asking if the rumored 7-inch tablet that is meant to be coming is actually a good idea for the tablet land, because I think that Google doesn't actually have the best idea with tablets. I mean, with the iPad being a 10-inch, and you have iPad-specific tablets, and you have the Microsoft Surface and obviously all the Windows 8 tablets, again, looking around 10 inches. So it inspires a tablet-specific user interface. And a 7-inch will seem to inspire people to get lazy and just stretch a smartphone interface. So what you have is, again, a lack of a push, and there's also a lack of a push from top down, where Andy Rubin himself has actually said that there shouldn't be a need for tablet-specific apps. So where does Google hope to make Android tablets successful? Is it simply a case of flooding the market with 7-inch tablets to compete with the Fire, but again losing the whole battle because obviously the 10 inches are winning the race? The iPad is obviously a runaway success. So basically, I wanted to see what you guys think of that. Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye.
I mean, it's not like the old days when when you go back to the original Galaxy Tab, I thought it was just not good because it was a stretched phone, right? But I've been saying this for a long time now. Even tablets right now kind of lack purpose. There's something about them.
People aren't buying the iPad just because it's 10 inches.
Right.
But I think a lot of what he's saying gets to one of my sort of wild card predictions for I/O. I think we're going to get not just one tablet, but two.
Maybe.
I think we're going to get a 10-inch as well, probably from Samsung. It makes sense for them to get Jelly Bean out there on these two devices and not have it limited to just one OEM and one basically budget tablet. So, but that's my thoughts on that.
As far as what he was saying about app scaling and software, Ruben is right. If you look at Android and you write your manifest and you write your code correctly, screen size doesn't matter. You could make a 40-foot wall, of screens, giant LED display.
Some designers will argue that you have to design everything down to the pixel.
Well, sure you do. That's that's part of the deal. That can't be helped. If you want one version to work on everything, you have to look at all the different resolutions and make sure it doesn't look like total crap. It's a good theory. In practice, it just doesn't seem to be working. I don't know if that's Google's problem or developers. I mean, I'm a software developer by trade, but not Android, not Java. Maybe it's harder than Google wants to make it out to be. I don't know. But somewhere that they need to get together, and we don't need to be sitting around saying, I wish such and such app would release a tablet version. That's crap. The version should work on all devices if what Google's saying is true.
I always just when somebody says, "Well, how many tablet apps are there for Android?"
All of them.
My answer is always all of them. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. All right, let's move on. And sorry, that was Anderson and not Anders. I had a hard time hearing it earlier. Now we have Andrew.
Hey Phil, this is Andrew calling from Austria, Europe. Remember, we're the ones without the kangaroos. And I'm calling in for the Android Central podcast. I really enjoy your show week by week. I love your jokes and your internal teasing. It's just so funny. So congratulations, keep up the great work. And I wish you all the best for the next 100 fantastic episodes of your show. Regarding your last episode, I was a little bit disappointed on the 30-minute discussions of AT&T and Verizon data plan issues. Sorry, but it's just really so boring, especially for listeners outside of the US. We here in Austria, for example, are able to get 1,000 minutes, 1,000 text messages, and 1 gig of data for €9 a month, without any long-running contract, tethering inclusive. If you go over your included data, every additional gigabyte will be charged with €4. So that's a deal, huh? Hope you are jealous now. Thanks again for entertaining us week by week. Keep up the great work. Thanks. That's Andrew calling from Austria.
Europe's just full of jokesters tonight, isn't it?
and you can't base all of America on Verizon and AT&T.
No.
What's $40 in euros? About like 32.
Oh God, I don't know.
30s?
Ask S-Voice.
Somewhere around $30.
Near enough. Yeah.
So,
I guess.
I mean, here in the States, you can get unlimited everything for €30. But
you get unlimited. You can get the same in the UK. All right. I mean, the difference is that in Europe you don't have LTE yet.
Right. And
so
people,
that's going to gradually change, I think.
People flock to AT&T and Verizon because AT&T and Verizon will pay for more than half of your phone if you sign a contract. That's why they do it.
But in the UK and in Europe, you have a situation where you get the phone for free if you spend over a certain amount of money. So you don't just get subsidized; you get a completely free phone, and at the same time, you might get unlimited data and all the rest of this stuff. And it's not quite as clear cut as that, I think.
All right, onward. DWR31 from the forums.
This is for the Android Central podcast. This is DWR_31 from the forums and Twitter, and Daryl Roberts from Google Plus and Facebook. I want to talk about two things today, and that is carrier subsidizing and Sony. On the carrier subsidizing, if you're using a CDMA network, your best bet is to subsidize, especially if you're planning on having the service for about 2 years. Enough of that. GSM networks, you might want to buy the phone outright. That way you come out a little bit cheaper in the end, and you're not under any contract to stay on that network, and you can take your phone somewhere else. Enough of that. Sony. Phil, Jerry, somebody. Get in contact with them because this falls right up your alley. Google TV on the next PlayStation. If they don't do it, they're shooting themselves in the foot. And tell them to bring some more phones over here to the U.S. We need them. All right? Love you. I'm out.
Man, that is...
I like this guy.
Interesting idea.
Yeah.
Google TV actually on the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's totally happening. Why would they not do that?
Why haven't they done that? I'm sure those are two entirely different political footballs.
Why haven't they done that is because the PS3 runs on really strange hardware. So we'll have to see what they want to do with the next PlayStation, whether the hardware they choose is a little bit more friendly to Android.
But on the other hand, they could just stick $100, Marvell CPU in a PlayStation and run Google TV on a separate partition. I mean, it's not a hardware limitation. Don't give Sony that easy of a way out.
Well, it's a hardware limitation on the current PlayStation because the current PlayStation runs a weird asynchronous setup.
But I'll bet that's something we never see, no matter how much sense it makes. Sony would rather you buy a PlayStation and a Google TV box.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like they always seem open to adding these kind of value-added things in their consoles. If you look at all the multimedia stuff that came in the PS3, why would they not make it so that doubles up as a TV box as well?
I agree with you. That would be. I would even buy one.
Yeah, it's another reason to buy that as opposed to whatever the next Xbox is.
Right.
Yep. Very interesting idea. All right, let's move on to Jeff.
Hey, my name's Jeff. This is for the Android Central podcast. You guys do a great job. I appreciate it. I just heard last week's show about the Google two-step verification, and I had a problem with that. I had a lock screen set, and with the two-step verification, ran into a weird problem where my phone got locked up. Luckily, I had printed out sort of the backup authorization numbers that you can print out when you set up Google two-step, and that saved me. So just a word of warning on that. I don't know if that issue's been fixed or not. And can't wait to hear about Alex's impressions of the U.S. and spend a half hour on that instead of on Verizon. Thanks.
Totally doing that next week.
Sorry, dude. Yes, we did.
As far as two-step goes, I don't know anything about two-step that would make it actually lock up the phone. That seems very strange.
No, he said it was the lock screen that was doing it, though, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what would. Oh, of course, yes. Yeah, so yeah, I see what he means. Yeah, but at the same time, when you set up two-step, what you have to do is give a phone number as well. Right. I suppose if that's the phone number of the phone that's locked up, that's not much help. But there are lots of different backups that are built into it, so that if any one part of that fails, you can still log in. And of course, you should always print out or write down the eight backup codes that it gives you.
Yes.
Or save them in your Dropbox under a file name called verification codes, and hope you don't get it.
I'm saying nothing.
All right, on to Jonathan.
Hey guys, this is Jonathan from Weston, Florida. Just calling to say, you guys are awesome. The Android Central podcast. Been listening to you since about episode 11 or so. It's been a great run, and keep up the great job. Love hearing the nerd rants from Jerry. Love hearing Phil complain about mid-level, entry-level smartphones. And Mickey and Corey, you guys just keep up the great job, guys. Enjoy the show. Keep it up. Loyal listener. Thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, man. I haven't complained about entry-level phones in a while. I'm going to skip the next one, and let's go to Richard.
Hello, this is Richard. I'm calling from Los Angeles for the Android Central podcast. What up, guys? Love the show. Listen every week. So many help me out. Currently own a Samsung Captivate, if you can believe that. Basically hell-bent on getting a Nexus device. I don't want to deal with rooting. I just want a stock Android experience, and I've been looking forward to that ever since I got into Android, being able to own a Nexus device. But this idea has been shaken considering the release of the HTC One X and Samsung Galaxy S3, which are both available on AT&T, which I am a subscriber to. So my question is, do you think, given my, want to run, a stock Android experience, so essentially a Nexus device, do you think it's worth waiting a few months and possibly on the possible chance that a Nexus device will be available on AT&T, or would you say that's unlikely, given that a Nexus device is yet to be released on AT&T, and I should just go for the HTC One X or the Samsung Galaxy S3? So given that, what do you guys think I should do? Really appreciate the help and love the podcast. Keep it up, guys. Thank you.
So
don't worry about it being on AT&T.
Right. Has AT&T ever subsidized the Nexus One or the Nexus S? I don't think so.
I think they subsidized the Nexus S, didn't they? But it was way into that phone's life cycle.
I don't think they ever did.
Oh, was it not subsidized?
I don't think it was.
It had AT&T 3G, and that was the big difference.
Right. I mean, you can guarantee yourself that whatever the next Nexus is, the GSM version will work on AT&T. That's pretty much a given. The question is now whether it's worth getting the GNX on. Is that what he's asking? Does he want to get the GNX right now?
Well,
is it too far into the?
If we think there will be another Nexus soon with support from AT&T, I'm taking that to mean subsidized.
Actually, I would say probably yes, just because of all the fuss and the bad blood with the Verizon GNX. I think the obvious choice for the next one in the US has got to be AT&T.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, for $399 from the Play Store, the Galaxy Nexus is the best damn $399 you'll ever spend, man.
Yes.
You're not going to buy an unlocked One X or Galaxy S3 for $400. Maybe they're better hardware side, but then again, you get back down to the software. Tomorrow, Google announces a bug. 3 days later, that Nexus from the Play Store is fixed. It's updated. You've always got the latest. I mean, come October or earlier or whatever, will we see another one? Probably. But $400, the Galaxy Nexus is a damn good buy.
Yep. Do not disagree. Okay, on to the other Richard. We're in the home stretch, boys and girls.
Hi, this is a message for the Android Central podcast. This is Angus again. I completely forgot. A massive congratulations on reaching 100 podcasts, and you guys are doing an amazing job, and I hope you continue doing it. Now I'm definitely gone. Bye.
I screwed something up, probably. That was a nice voicemail, though. The other Richard out there, sorry about that. That's probably my fault.
Hey, this is Rick Hebner for Android Central. And just calling to let you know about a 2-amp car charger that I use for my Samsung Galaxy Nexus and my wife's Nexus S. It is from iGo, and it's a 2-amp dual USB port, very small charger for your car, and then you just plug in a USB cable into it. All right? Keep up the great work. Bye.
Hey, guess we decided. Awesome. Not my fault. I got that one right. Yes, 2-amp chargers all over the place. All right, 2 to go. How about Rick?
That was Rick. That's the last one I got.
Oh, that was Rick. Okay.
I'm out.
You're not out. We got one more to go. There's one more in there. I slipped it in late. It's the one we skipped. It's the Panda. It's the mobile Panda.
What's going on? It's Black Man X. I just wanted to give a big congrats for 100 episodes. That is a milestone. It's been interesting. So, now that we got practice out the way, here's to another few hundred more. And like I said, guys, keep up the good work. Later.
Appreciate it, dude.
Cool.
Yep.
That was 11 voicemails. That was a lot of voicemails. We only screwed up one. Well, except for the one that I lost Skype on. That's it. That's the podcast, too. We are done. That's 100. Friggin' podcasts. It's a lot of them. Actually, we've done more than 100 if you think about it, between all the live events. But of the ones we number, we've done a lot.
We haven't done 1 million, but we've done more than 100. So
we haven't done 1 million. We have far more than 1 million downloads, though.
When we get to the 1,000,000th podcast, I'm going to buy everybody on the internet a beer.
Let me see how many downloads we have, by the way. If you want to get in touch with us like all those guys did, you get a couple options. Podcast at androidcentral.com. And if you want to record a voicemail and send it that way, that is awesome. If you want to send it the old-fashioned way over the phone, call 888. I don't know what it is. Call
888-6158.
Yes, 888-468-6158, extension 222 for the podcast.
I remembered the 222 part.
Yeah. I'm doing this without telling you, we're flying without a net. I don't even have the script in front of me. If you want to get in touch with shopandroid.com, which sponsors this wonderful podcast for 100-something episodes, get them at that same number, 888-468-6158, no extension 222. Just call that number. You got the store. or go to the website, shopandroid.com. Or they're on Twitter, and they're on Facebook. And actually, you need to follow them on Facebook and Twitter because they got deals going on out there that you might not otherwise see. So be sure to do that. More good stuff in the store all the time, by the way. Galaxy S3 cases in there already, if you're looking for those.
I noticed that. That was quick. Good job, guys.
Hey, it kind of helps when it matches up the Euro version, doesn't it?
Right.
How about that? Twitter. We are all on Twitter. I'm at Phil Nickinson. Alex is at Alex Doby. Corey is at C Streeter. Corey, have you used Twitter in a while?
It's been a while.
All Google Plus. Alex is at Alex Doby, but we're all on Google Plus, and you should follow us there as well because it's pretty cool. And since we'll be at Google I/O, we'll be using Google Plus even more, I'm sure.
Yep.
That's it. We're done. 100.
Yay.
Corey, Jerry, Alex, thank you. Mickey Papillon, I'm sorry you weren't here tonight. We'll get Mickey back as soon as we can. And with that, stick a fork in us. We're out of here.
Slam the mic.
Flip the table.
So we do one next week. What do we do next week? Because we've got all kinds of stuff, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Well, like 5 podcasts for Google I/O next week. So you'll hear us. That's it. We're out. See ya.